The following podcast is part of the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. For advertising information or to find more great podcasts, visit us at www.theunderdogsports.com and follow us on Twitter at RealTheUnderdog.
Okay. Well, just for the record, we got the Sunny in Phoenix too.
52 to...
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the Sunny in Phoenix podcast, a weekly podcast where we keep you up to date on everything Phoenix Suns basketball. This week on the show, we are going to talk a little bit about Devin Booker and his All-Star weekend. After that, we'll recap games against the Raptors, Bulls, and Jazz. And after that, we'll preview the rest of the games this week against the Clippers, Pistons, and Warriors. My name is Charlie Erling, and as always, I'm joined by Mitch Krumpetich.
What's up?
And before we do anything here, I just have to give a shout out to Javon Carter, because he's been playing great basketball lately, and I've been pretty rough on him in the past. But the way he's been playing since the All-Star break, I just feel like I got to get that off my chest at the top of the show. He's been a difference maker for us lately.
That's good. Yeah. I think it's we're getting towards March. He's ready to cheer on his West Virginia Mountaineers as we start to head into the tournament. The busiest time of year basketball-wise. Apologies to anyone who knows me personally about how busy I get.
Follow us on Twitter at SunnyandPHXPod. Same thing for Instagram. Go on iTunes, leave us a 5-star review and a comment, and you will get a shout-out on the show.
But speaking of getting personal, our bet question.
Oh,
I know, yeah. Our bet question from 2 weeks ago, since we took an all-star break ourselves. Shout out to at Andre Camano on Twitter. That's at ANDREY_CAAMANO on Twitter. He was closest on guessing Marquise Chris points in the Warriors game. Our old friend Marquise Chris actually had a pretty good game with 18 points. So I was closest on that, putting me at 2-0 for February. We have 1 week left, so
you got it. You got it.
We're still going to do a bet question just for the listeners because it's fun, but we'll see if I can get the sweep this month.
There you go. We're ready to treat you guys for a dinner after the 2 that you've had to provide for us. So
and I still owe you for January too. So
oh yeah.
We got to go back to Applebee's.
That's right, brother.
The third time.
Oh man, yeah. And like we said, we took the week off last week, and I just realized that I messed up the order of the intro.
That's okay.
Is this amateur hour?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
We got to knock off the rust.
Sorry at Sundress Dunks for not putting an episode out last week and for being a day late this week. I was driving back from LA on Sunday when we usually record. So,
yeah. Had to big time us, go to the big city, and
that's right. It's amazing. It's amazing how big of a city it is, because like Phoenix is the 5th largest city in the country, but it's super spread out. Like you can't really tell. But LA, wow.
LA.
Aside from the tacos and the hiking, they also have a ton of people. So
wow. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah. For those of you who have not been to our friends to the west, it's very crowded and busy. I've heard that it's projected that within the next 5 years, 1 million people are going to move to Phoenix, and a lot of them are going to be from LA. So we need Suns fans to rise up because we're going to get a lot of Lakers fans probably coming in.
We're used to that. We can try to fight them off, and maybe when we become even more successful, it'll be even easier, but we'll see. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, I'd say.
Yeah.
Let's get back to. Let's bring it in. Devin Booker All-Star Weekend. I know that Mitch and I both said that we were boycotting the All-Star festivities this year because Booker got snubbed. And we all know that Dame got hurt. Devin Booker gets put in as his replacement for the three-point contest and the All-Star game. So that took away a lot of the salt. I know that we were both feeling pretty bummed about it. So we were both really happy to see him get in there. And then he gets in the three-point contest, and everyone remembers, oh, this guy just won the three-point contest a couple years ago. And he really showed out in there. In the first round, he had 27, which is just solid. I think he even airballed one in there, but still got 27. That's insane. And then get into the second round, scores 26, a solid score, but Buddy Hield puts him away with his last shot on his money ball rack. So that was a great show for the three-point contest, and I'm happy Devin did well.
Yeah, the three-point contest is still the best event of All-Star Weekend by far. And would have loved to see Booker win it, but you can't win them all. He wanted Buddy to get one, I guess. He was being nice.
That's right. He was being nice. And yeah, you can't mess up the three-point contest is something that I just approve of that. You can add those Mountain Dew balls in there, whatever. It still doesn't change it that you just have to make the most shots. That's what it's all about. Then you get to the dunk contest, and then it's up to a few random judges who may or may not be pulling for an old teammate. And that was a mess. But we're a little too far past this to go back into it. Dunk contest was fun, but the judging was interesting. Let's talk about the All-Star game. And Devin Booker got to play with the greats. It was really nice seeing him out there just playing with those guys for once.
Yeah, and I mean, you've all seen it by now, the putback dunk that he had, that Booker even said it surprised him that he was able to do that. So pretty cool to see him have a big play on a large stage like that.
Right, and he didn't have the greatest All-Star game by any means, but you get a moment in like that, people will remember that. That's kind of a cool thing to do in your first All-Star game. I have a feeling he'll be back there to build on his All-Star game resume, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is great, though. He's our first All-Star since Steve Nash. It's weird to say.
That's weird to think of, that it's been since Nash. And man, it seems like this year there's been some things that we have accomplished that haven't happened in years for the Suns. Like I believe our win against the Jazz, we just finished watching that game. That was the first time since 2013 that we've won in Utah. I think we had something like that against the Spurs, and even another team this year. We're starting to. It seems like things are pointing in the right direction. So, and with an all-star like Devin Booker, that's why these things are happening. So, shout out to Devin. Everyone's proud of you. We love you. You're the man. Let's keep winning some games. That's all I got.
That's right. That's right. I mean, to kind of add to that, though, I've heard a few people in the national media lately saying, the Suns really aren't all that better than they have been over the last couple of years. And to that, I would say, have you watched a game?
Yeah, that's outrageous.
Because we're a lot better. We are much better.
And even look at the point differential of losses last year compared to this year. How many one-possession games have we lost this year compared to how many 20-point games we lost last year? It's crazy. This is it's a different team, and we're relatively healthy right now. We're only missing Frank Kaminsky. So this team, what we've got to see after the break here, is kind of the best representation we've seen of this Phoenix Suns team all year.
Right, and we just went out and handed it to the Jazz.
Right, and that feels really good. But let's start at the back end of this, at the beginning of the week. Our first game back from the All-Star break against the Toronto Raptors. And heading into that game, I don't think anyone was feeling too confident. You're playing the Raptors, one of the better teams in the East, and you're going to have to knock some of this rust off after the All-Star break. That goes for both teams, but Toronto's coming off a championship. A lot of that team is still around from then, and they're a really good team, and they showed it in this one. Yeah,
the Raptors are awesome. I don't mind losing this game because they're really, really, really good. Like it's pretty amazing that they lost Kawhi and Danny Green and still have a chance to win again this year.
Right. They were 41-15 after beating us. I'm not sure what they've done since then, but that's a heck of a squad, and they're doing great things. And Pascal Siakam, he's a unit, man. He's fun to watch. He's big. He's young. He can shoot it. He can dominate down low. And going into this game, I looked at the roster and said, it's going to be tough for us to handle him. Mikhail and Kelly don't have the beef or even the size in general to hang with him. And then if you want to try to throw Saric on him, or even, I don't know, try to throw Baines or Ayton, those are tough matchups all around. And he made us pay in this game. He was 5 for 9 from downtown, finished with 37 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks. Just really impressive. And then on the other end for our Suns, no one really quite got it going in this, and especially not enough to make a real mark on the game. Devin led the way for us with 21 points and 8 assists. But, aside from the third quarter of this game, the Raptors handled us pretty well. But you got to give a shout out, Monty Williams. These halftime speeches that he's giving, they're doing something to us. You can tell that the team is coming out of the locker room after halftime, ready to just play better basketball and play hard for their coach. I'm really happy to see that.
Yeah, I think he just goes on iTunes, searches Sunny and PHX, plays the most recent episode, taps 5 stars, leaves a review. I mean, I'm sure that really energizes the guys.
Yeah.
No, but for real, I mean, I think Monty is really a game changer because Earl Watson was not lighting fires under the guys at halftime. Jay Triano wasn't doing that. Jeff Hornacek wasn't doing that. Like, Monty Williams is a great coach. He knows how to connect with these guys, and I think he really has the respect of the locker room.
Right. And I think the one thing I've noticed the most since the All-Star break is the message that he sent to DeAndre Ayton about, hey, man, you have to be a bully down there. 80% of your shots have to come from the post. Then you can shoot a couple jumpers here and there, but you got to be dominating down low. And that's what we've been seeing since the break. And let's take it right into this Bulls game where we get the win 112-104. And DeAndre Ayton dominates this game. And yes, this is against the Bulls. They're not a great team, but we still need to be happy about this because something happened in this game which seems like it's going to open a lot of doors for the Suns in the future. DeAndre Ayton dominates this game. 28 points, 19 rebounds, 10 of those on the offensive end. That's a lot. He's doing a lot of work on the offensive end, grabbing those rebounds, scoring, picking up fouls. He got to the line for some free throws in this one even. A really nice all-around game from Ayton. And what that did was it made Devin Booker's job so much easier. I think I saw Devin Booker shoot a wide-open 3 out of a half-court set for the first time in years in this game. They were so worried about Ayton that they forgot about Devin. We need that to happen.
That's true.
It's what we need to win, and we got to see it in this Bulls game.
Yeah, well, and Zach Lowe recently had a podcast with Chris Herring from 538 on it, where they talked about the most interesting players to watch through the rest of the season post All-Star break. And they chose DeAndre Ayton as one of them, just saying that he has the opportunity to be a really great player. They talked about how he has significantly improved on defense. They said he'll never probably be great, but he has really improved. And I agree with that. But one really interesting thing that Zach Lowe pointed out, I believe, is that Ayton is a good rebounder, but he doesn't box out. And he just said, he can really dominate the offensive glass. And on defense, he could be even better, but he just doesn't box out. And I'm like, wow, that was a simple way to describe DeAndre Ayton's game. Great rebounder that chooses not to box out.
Yeah, that's interesting to think about. And then on the other end of it, if you look at what the Thunder still do, but especially did last year with Westbrook, where their bigs would just box out, and they wouldn't even go for the rebound, and they'd let Russ get it to supposedly get into the fast break a little bit quicker. And then on the other end, there's Ayton, who doesn't box out, but just has the natural ability to out-jump a lot of these guys to get rebounds. Mm-hmm. That's something interesting to think about, and I'd obviously like to see Ayton box out a little more. It does sound right. When you see Ayton box out, it's a little bit surprising, and you're like, hey, good job, DeAndre. That's good stuff, bud. Nice box out.
Right, but, yeah. It's like YMCA basketball level fundamentals.
That's right. Okay, in this one, though, let's talk about the Bulls for a second. Kobe White had a big one, 33 points, 7 for 13 from downtown. He really got it going, and he kind of kept them around in this game where they probably shouldn't have been hanging around. And they showed the "that's so love, bro" thing about the Cam Johnson draft pick and Kobe White. So after every Cam Johnson bucket, I was screaming, "That's so love, bro." I think it annoyed my wife. I think that annoyed her a little bit. That's
funny. Great hair too, Kobe White.
Well, he tamed the fro down, which
he did, but it still looked good.
It's still, yeah. I'm a fro man myself.
Yeah.
If I could grow a fro, I'd rock a fro.
Would you though?
Would you?
It's
You're a long hair, don't care kind of guy. Would you do a fro?
Not anymore, but
anymore.
I don't think I would do a fro. I don't think so.
Dreads? Are you a dread guy?
I would not do dreads.
Okay.
No. I would not do dreads. Definitely no.
Okay. All right. This seems like a good time to move it forward, huh? Let's talk about this Jazz game that we just finished up watching. It was a fantastic win. Everybody just got it going in this one. Final score 131-111. That's a 20-point win. That's 131 points put up by the Suns. That's 3 30-plus point quarters to end the game. We really, really put them away late in the fourth, and that is something that we don't get to see often, but it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I mean, I think we need to look at the Jazz here. So many of their guys, Bogdanovich, Ingles, Donovan Mitchell especially, are just these empty calorie scorers. You know, Donovan Mitchell puts up 38 points on 11 for 19 shooting, and they still lose by 20. He's minus 19. I mean, I don't know. That's the definition of an empty calorie scorer. And even on the broadcast, they're like, he can't miss. I'm like, who cares? It doesn't matter. Like, he could score, I don't know, 70 plus points and they'd still probably lose by 20. So, I mean, it's like, it's not even fun to watch at this point. The Jazz just like going out there and chucking everything up, and it's like it doesn't even matter. Okay. I'm done going into my Reddit describes Devin Booker phase.
Oh, we needed that.
We did, but
I enjoyed that.
Real, I mean, Donovan Mitchell was the only one who really did anything for the Jazz tonight, and as a Suns fan, we can understand that. But I mean, yeah, no one else really did anything for them, and we were pretty balanced. You know, Ayton with 16 points, Booker with 24. Oubre had 18. Rubio had 22. Rubio had a great game. 22 points, 6 rebounds, 11 assists, 7 steals.
Career high 7 steals.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing that Zach Lowe brought up is the lineup of Rubio, Bridges, Booker, Oubre, and Ayton is like one of the best lineups in basketball right now. It's really good. Like efficiency-wise and offensive rating and defensive rating, like it's a really good lineup.
That's exciting. And I was thinking about that too. A little bit of I'm kind of falling into off-season mode a little bit. I hate to say it. We've held out pretty well, but I'm starting to slip into it. And I was thinking about what do we need to do next year? What's going to get us over the hump? What can we do this year to help us improve next year? And then I looked at our starting lineup, and all those guys are going to be back next year. Well, this is a solid starting lineup in the league, not just our conference or just the West or anything like that. It's a good 5-man lineup in the league. We can build off this, and I'm happy to see, each one of those guys really had a solid night. And Mikhail only with 8 points, but he does so much more. He doesn't need to be the one to score.
Right. And, I was having a similar thought the other day, too. And I think about how next year we're potentially, and I would say likely, losing Baines, Kaminsky, and Saric. So who are we going to get to replace those guys? And, the more I think about it, yes, those guys are solid veteran players, but they're really not that hard to replace.
No, they really aren't. When it comes down to it, we're gonna be able to find veteran players who see what's going on here, who know that they'll be able to help and step in. And Monty said something earlier this year about, he couldn't go into details, but people want to be in Phoenix, and Monty's a huge part of that.
Oh yeah, big time.
I think he's probably the majority of that, honestly. It's not Robert Sarver.
Oh, no. I think Monty Williams, Devin Booker being an all-star, DeAndre Ayton kind of coming into his own, and then the new facilities, this remodel and the new practice facility. I do think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, totally. I'm really excited for next year. I want to get in there. I want to see this new arena when it's all done. I want to be rejuvenated again next year. And I want more wins to happen with it too.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so all around. Oh, something we just kind of breezed past that we should make a note of. I just closed my box scores too. Oh no, but okay, against the Jazz, Booker and Rubio combined for 21 assists. Against the Bulls, they combined for 16 assists. And the game before that against the Raptors, I believe it was 17 or 18 they combined for. Those guys have been moving the ball, finding the right guy, and just shout out. Rubio has looked good after the break. He needed that rest, and he's really been playing well since. So,
yes.
We're 2-1 after the break. We got to be ecstatic with that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the way I'm looking at this, it might be a little bit pessimistic, which is not my usual, but that's okay. The way I'm looking at this is anything over 21 wins is pretty much just extra. After the last few seasons where getting between 19 and 21 wins has been the norm, anything over that is just going to be like icing on the cake this year. And so far, we have 24 wins. Yeah, we're 24-34 right now. We're 5 games behind the 8-seed Grizzlies, so it's not over. The Grizzlies have lost a couple games, too, and just lost Jaren Jackson Jr. for a couple weeks. So.
Right, that'll be tough, but they have Josh Jackson to put in.
They should put Josh Jackson.
You know what?
Actually,
I really like the guys at the No Dunks podcast, but I don't remember which one it was. Just had all these great things to say about Josh Jackson. I was listening to it today. And a guy who had a tough start. He's been through some troubles. He skipped a season ticket holder event and all this stuff. And then he's like, but he's really doing a nice job. Come on, give me a break. If Josh Jackson would have had a 20-point game while he was in Phoenix, would you say anything like that? No. Well, that just made me upset. I don't want to hear anyone talk. Okay, Josh Jackson's a freak athlete who's putting together a few decent basketball games. I don't need to.
Yeah, I mean, and I will say, I'll give those guys a little bit of credit. They have been pretty positive about Phoenix for the most part. But I'm going to air a grievance right here while we're talking about them.
Let's do it.
And I've been considering emailing them about this actually. When they talk about, and it's not just them, other people do this too. When they talk about the playoff race, the hunt for the 8th seed in the West, the Grizzlies. Okay, it's looking like the Grizzlies are going to get it. Fine. But when they talk about the playoff race, everyone seems to mention Portland, San Antonio, and New Orleans. We're right in the middle of all of those teams, and I think we're better than at least New Orleans.
Yeah, I can agree with that. A fully healthy Sun squad, I think we compete against all those teams.
Right. So why are we not mentioned in that? There was a point where I know it was the No Dunks guys. They were talking about, New Orleans really has a chance. They're good. And, they just completely wrote Phoenix off. And I'm like, we have a better record than them right now.
Yeah. But we don't have the sexiest rookie to ever lace up a pair of Nikes and bust through them.
Yeah. We don't have the best rookie to ever bust through a pair of shoes.
It's because his feet's so thick. All right, moving it on. Let's move it on. I agree with you. I've been salty enough tonight. I don't want to be salty. Okay. 3 games for the rest of the week here. Wednesday against the Clippers, Friday against the Pistons, and Saturday against the Warriors. These are all home games. We're on a nice little home stand. You counted them up earlier. 12 home games left?
12 home games left.
Man, the season goes so fast. That's crazy. It doesn't trudge along like we're on pace for 19 wins, you know?
No, this season has gone by pretty quick, definitely.
All right, so Wednesday we match up against the Clippers. This is a tough matchup, no matter which way you look at it. Could we keep it going, though? This nice win against the Jazz. Do we have the momentum to come home and maybe beat the Clippers?
Probably not, but we've done it before.
I remember that
early on in the season.
I remember that early on in the season when we were saying, "Bring Kawhi."
Paul George did play.
Bring Paul George next time. Yeah, we were pretty confident at that point.
Yeah, they probably. We'll see. We'll see if they do. I'm not super confident in this game, but who knows? We beat the Jazz by 20, so.
Right, and the Jazz have been on a little rough spell here lately.
They have, yeah.
And I'm obviously happy to add to that, but I just really hope we keep the momentum going against the Clippers, because after that, 2 very, very, very winnable games against the Pistons and Warriors. Do you think we can get those 2?
I think so, yes. But speaking of momentum, we're going to make Wednesday's game against the Clippers the bet question for this week. And we're going to see if Rubio can continue his momentum of his career high in steals game. So our bet question at Sunny and PHX Pod, send your answer in, is how many steals will Ricky Rubio have?
I'll go 3.
3? Okay. Well, since I've definitely won this month, I'm going to say 10. I'm predicting a triple-double with points, assists, and steals from Ricky Rubio.
Hey,
maybe a quadruple-double with some rebounds in there.
Hey, you know what? Against the Jazz, he was kind of flirting with a quadruple-double. 22 points, 11 assists, 7 steals, 6 rebounds. Kind of. It popped into my head. I think that maybe that was the extent. I wouldn't even call that flirting, but it came into my head. I thought about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see if he can do it against the Clippers. So you said 3. I said 10.
Yep.
So, yeah, like I said, chime in at Sunny and PHX Pod on Twitter with your guess for Rubio steals, and the closest guess will get a shout out.
There we go. Okay, so Pistons and Warriors both at home. I just feel like this momentum is real. I feel like the team is starting to finally figure it out with everybody healthy. And these games are winnable. The last time we played the Pistons, we lost to them, but they had Drummond at the time. That was before they gave him away. And then the Warriors again, I think that's a team we can beat. I'd really like us. We went 2-1 after the break so far. I think we can do it for the rest of this week too. 2-1.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, the Pistons, that's got to be a winnable game. We really need to win the Pistons and Warriors games, especially since they're at home. Let's get a few more home wins before this season closes out, huh?
Yeah, we've been struggling at home. We deserve it as fans.
That's right.
Some wins at home. We need to see a few more.
Yeah, I would even go as far as saying I deserve it, personally.
You do. Yeah. I agree with that. You do.
No,
what about me?
Yeah, you do too.
Wow, you didn't sound very convinced there. I got pretty excited for you, saying that Mitch deserves.
You deserve it.
Thank you. Okay.
But so I mean, winnable games. I think Pistons, like who? I don't even know who they have. That's going to
Christian Wood.
Christian Wood.
I like Christian Wood. I think
yeah, he is. And they have that Dumboya, right?
Yeah, the rookie.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting, I guess. And then Warriors. I mean, okay, now to really talk about an empty calories kind of scorer, Andrew Wiggins. We're going to be fine.
I agree. I did see that Steph is starting to shoot around in scrimmage now, and that I bet every NBA player that read that news got a little scared. I even did, and I don't mean anything.
I guess he's not coming back until March, though. So
good. I hope we get all of our games against the Warriors out of the way before then.
Yeah. Well, and I think actually I got to look at the calendar. Saturday. Okay. Yeah. See, thankfully it's a leap year. So Saturday is February 29th. So he definitely won't be back because they said March. So he could come back the next day on March 1st.
There you go.
Thank you to the leap year. Shout out to the leap year for not letting Steph come back against us. Though that would be kind of fitting because he got hurt in the game against us.
Oh, that is true.
So
Baines.
Maybe Steph revenge game. I doubt it, though. Anyway. Now it's time for our non-sports section of the show. And once again, we did not discuss this ahead of time. But as we kind of hinted at earlier in the episode, I recently got a haircut. And it's a very big change for me because previous to this, I had hair about down to my shoulders. And now I have pretty short hair. So it's a big change. So when's the time that you made a change that was so big that you couldn't recognize yourself in the mirror anymore?
Oh, that's too easy. It's a shave. Mm-hmm. I've been bearded since my wedding day. Let's go back. That's okay. 2011.
A soul patch does not count as bearded.
No, since then. That was the last time my face, my cheeks and chin, not the soul patch, or a jazz spot, for those of you who may not be acquainted with soul patches. I did have one of those. But since then, I've always had a beard. And there was one time, I didn't go baby butt soft, but I trimmed it down to stubble darn near. And I felt like an entirely different man. I looked in the mirror. I was like, what? Who is this guy? These cheeks are too chubby. I got to cover this back up. And then I grew the beard back.
That's a good one. So for me, the obvious answer is the haircut. But I already mentioned that. So I'm going to go with something different. I was just telling this story earlier today, too. When I was a kid, I had a lot of issues with my teeth. I only ever lost 2 teeth on my own. And I had to get the rest pulled. So I would get like 6 or 8 teeth pulled at a time. It used to be like just a nightmare.
Oh.
Yeah, but I remember as a kid there would be these times where I would just have like no teeth. And then all of a sudden like a bunch of teeth would come in. So yeah, I'd probably go with that one.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. You know, teeth are something that you don't really switch in and out of very often. So when you don't have any, and then all of a sudden there are some. That must have been pretty wild.
Yeah, this was a long time ago because I was a little kid. I had a lot of issues that they were like, we have to fix this now, or it's going to be even worse as you get older.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I do remember, and I've seen pictures of myself just like missing so many teeth.
That's good.
So, Yeah, funny story. I actually am missing 2 adult teeth. You wouldn't know, but I have 2 less teeth than most people, and no wisdom teeth either. So.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Toothless Mitch.
I guess, like that movie.
You know, I thought of something else. I think this only works if you're a youthful-looking person, if you're like my age. But when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I kind of had the shaggy hair going on a little bit. Just I didn't keep it cut too close. But when I would cut it close, I'd turn into a 15-year-old again. Like that would happen very frequently. I remember I'd get made fun of quite a bit because I'd go from looking my age to looking like a freshman in high school. I remember that happening quite a bit.
That's funny. Yeah, all these things make such a big difference.
Is that it?
That's
I think
it.
we're done.
That's
We
all.
knocked off the rust. We're going to be back next week with a better episode. And I'm not saying this was a bad episode. I'm not saying this was a good episode. It was a middling episode. But you know what? We're going to improve on that. Just like we hope our Suns improve on their 2-1 record since the All-Star break. We just want to see everything get good. Get good. Sunny and Phoenix Podcast. Instagram, Twitter, @Sunny and PHX Pod. Email address, Mitch?
Wow, it's been a long time. I believe it's sunnyandphxpod@gmail.com.
Maybe that's where our interaction is going to come. Maybe we'll just start getting like thousands of emails.
We
right?
already do, but they're all spam.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to delete that right now, actually.
All right. Well, I'm glad I could make this awkward for everybody. I hope you all have a good day. Go Suns. See you next week. See, I did that in the wrong order, too. Have a good week. Go Suns.